Welcome back to Let's Play Castlevania Bloodlines. Last time around we beat the Mecha Knight, although he almost beat me because I wasn't paying attention. And today we're going down, deeper and down into the depths of the Atlantis Shrine in Greece. And this is the first stage that I think made me truly appreciate just how goddamn gorgeous this game looks. Just take a second here to appreciate this wonderful reflection effect on the water here as it bobs up and down. The twilight sunset in the background. This Minotaur glitching out like crazy because he's stuck on the right hand corner of the screen. No, but apart from the latter one, this I think is proof that you don't need state-of-the-art graphics and 5 billion frames a second or whatever it is in order for a game to look really, really nice. Even a retro game like this one. Also, unwanted guest out of nowhere, this Minotaur. This Minotaur killed me quite a few times when I was playing through this game as a child with my cousin, because, like an idiot, I tended to barrel through the stage without even thinking. And therefore, that Minotaur caught me out, hit me, and sent me flailing straight back into the pit via the demon known as Knockback. As any player of Castlevania worth their salt will tell you, Knockback is probably going to be the thing that kills you more times than not. Now that was fairly easy as long as you avoid the dread demon of Knockback. This is not so easy because you've got... I didn't want to get that out, but you know what? We'll run with it. You've got the tide chasing you, and yes, you can actually drown. Maybe the item crash will help taking out this Minotaur. There we go. But the tide is chasing you, and you can drown and take damage if you stay submerged for too long or too far under. You've also got a bit of a maze element here because some of these staircases take you to dead ends, which you can get out easily as Eric because you can just use the again, that's item crash and take care of this guy. For some reason I thought that killed him and it hadn't. And you've also got these invincible orbs. Also, I'll take the level 4 whip, thank you very much. And I'll take that one up I'm not going to be able to get to in time, thank you very much. Let's show off what the orb does here. It's just a screen clip. It's like the mirror. It's the same effect as the mirror. It just does an awful lot of damage to everything on the screen. I didn't need that boomerang anyway. And by the way, shout out to CPC Gamer, who informed me that if I was to lose my sub-weapon, my orb sub-weapon, by picking up another one, I can actually get it back by keeping the level 4 whip until I pick up the same sub-weapon and then it will revert back to the orb. The problem with that, of course, is that you don't actually usually keep the whip long enough to get to that sub-weapon to replenish it. And now we come to the greatest boss in the game, nay, Castlevania history itself, the Wizard, who's trying to raise the water level in order to drown us. Unfortunately for the Wizard, A, we had the level 4 whip, so we're doing a ton of damage to him, and B, he just teleports left and right, so if you just do this, you should take care of him, no problem. Even with the weakest level whip, he isn't really much of a problem. You'll notice the boss music hasn't stopped because we've still got a boss to take care of over to the right here. Also, I thought that wizard was Shaft for the longest time from Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood, but he's not. He's just a generic wizard. The second boss fight we have to deal with is these two ravens, which I'm taking care of via the orb. No, they're not the boss, they're just generic enemies, but you know what? Screw Castlevania birds. I know, it's a popular meme as originated by Deceased Crab, but seriously, they're not good in these games. They are a pain to deal with. So here's our actual boss then, which we're going to orb to death a little bit. This is the Heavy Armor. And the key to beating him is to get up close and personal. I don't mean that in a homoerotic sense. I mean that he cannot actually hurt you if you get between the gap between him and his Morningstar Flail. He is then replaced by his cousin, the Great Axe Armor, who, funnily enough, you beat the exact opposite way to Heavy Armor. You've got to keep your distance, jump in, and hit him. And when he jumps like that, he gets stuck in the floor and you can get a few hits off. But don't get too cocky, kid, or he can finish you. Oh, God. I want to try and keep the whip if I can possibly help it in the next section. And I did. Excellent. I do love the death animation that the two armors have. I also like the fact that the bosses, for the most part, have unique death animations. Death animations that are completely unique to them. They wouldn't actually implement that feature for the common enemies until much later in the series. I want to say, I think it was one of the handheld games. It may have been... It may have been Aria of Sorrow, but don't quote me on that because I'm not fully up on my Castlevania games in general, but especially not the handheld ones. I've played through 1, 4, and Bloodlines in full, and I've seen people play through 2 and 3 and some of the... I shouldn't have gone for that, should I? I should have tried to... Okay, now I get a chance to practice what CPC Gamer preached, I guess, and see if I can keep this until I can pick up another boomerang. That's never going to happen, by the way. Just to warn you right now. These Medusa heads are another very common enemy in Castlevania, and they are the bane of a lot of players' existence. And honestly, it's kind of hard to see why, for for certain reasons, but it also isn't, because they have a pretty easy to follow pattern and you just whip them out of the air with one attack. But for whatever reason, you just forget about that. You kind of forget that the Medusa heads, because Konami very cleverly puts them in an area where you've got more to worry about than just the enemies. You've also got to worry about, well, the terrain. The fact you're trying not to keep up with the water. Is that a boomerang? No, I can't show it off yet. I feel really sheepish for picking up that orb, but I suppose it does allow me to show off what he did. Also, this statue, we get to destroy its head, knock its head clean off. I love destructible environments in video games. And I love the fact that you can do that. I mean, this is not unique to... That guy just jumped right off a cliff. What an idiot. And we're coming up to 2 bone pillars. This is where I lose the... Yeah, there you go. It was a valiant effort, but I was never going to get through the entire stage without taking a hit. Oh, God, I nearly cost myself double there with the white dragon. I just knocked that pillar with a boomerang. I didn't mean to do that. Let's just item crash and get this guy out of the way. He's going to be a huge pain in the arse, isn't he? Go down, thank you. Wouldn't it have been terrible there if the pillar had actually not spawned properly, and therefore I would have had to have dealt with that guy and basically respawned him, or just jumped to my death? Get out of here. I do like that you can knock the barbarian guards off the ledge. No, we're not playing this game again, bone pillar. I hate the bone pillars. Absolutely hate the bone pillars, because you've got to inch forward. And it's like the collision detection on them is just ridiculous for me anyway. Fortunately, over to the left here, we do have some life-saving wall meat. Or I suppose technically it's pillar meat now. But yeah, to complete my early point about the Medusa heads and the Minotaurs, it is amazing just how much the Castlevania series, but also video games and even fiction in general, owes to Greek mythology. I mean, so many classic monster archetypes like the Minotaur and Medusa, or the Gorgons in general, especially Medusa. I got my boomerang back, so that's where I had to get. This sinks, so you've got to go over it quickly, and there's also a barbarian to take care of, and 3 bone pillars, which are badly placed, because you can just do this. And still get hit somehow. Yeah, you know what, nuts to you, I'm using the item crash to take care of you. This is probably not a good idea, but I have had it with being messed around by bone pillars. Fortunately, we do have an opportunity to stock up on some gems to replace the ones we just lost. Also, football player Minotaurs, for want of a better term. And I actually do want the axe for a reason that will become immediately apparent when we pass through this. What you've got to do is kind of bait these guys. I want them all on the same screen, so when they buck, you can just go down and avoid them. But this is basically timing. Okay, that'll do. No, it won't. Come on, guys, sync up. Okay, now. And go down before he charges, and we are already at the boss of this area. We've borrowed heavily from Greek mythology, but for the boss, we're borrowing from a different type of mythology. This is a golem, or the golem. And this guy is fairly easy, actually, as long as you know the trick to him. You can't actually damage him straight off the bat. You have to smack away portions of his body. The main threat here are the ceiling, or the rocks the ceiling he drops from the rocks. So you just got to pay attention. If you go over to the left there, he can't actually hurt you. And this is where the axe come in handy, because once he's low enough, you can actually use him to damage the eye. You have to hit the eye in order to damage him. You'll notice just hitting the parts of the body aren't actually doing anything. I'm doing an awful job of this. And also the problem with this is he is the RNG boss. Those rocks are completely random. You should theoretically be fairly safe over to the left, but you can't actually hit him over to the left. And now you can just take care of him. This is why I'm keeping the axes in reserve, and when he jumps, now you'll notice he's not protecting his eye, and you can just explode it in a mess of gore, and that's the end of that. I do love this guy's death animation, even though it kind of borrows from Terminator 2, although he's not actually offering the thumbs up like I thought he would, or indeed the middle finger, because we just killed him. Finger? No, finger. You pronounce that finger, Rain. You know, that's a basic thing. And orb, which I landed on instead of jumping up to get it, but that's fine. That's okay. We got through the stage relatively unscathed. Well, we didn't, but I'm a terrible liar. Speaking of golems, if you've seen the leaks for Pokemon Sun and Moon, I'm just going to say the Aeolian version of Golem looks super weird. And don't even get me started on Aeolian Persian. Good grief. Good grief!